Adam's garment of skin? Episode 4. The time Enoch spent carrying out his mission on this earth was 300 years. Compared to the lifespan of people in those days, it was not especially long, yet it was far from short whenever he had the opportunity. He put me on and traveled across the earth. He even drew maps for himself, recording the characteristics of the places he visited, marking which ones he should return to and which ones he should not. In order to meet even one more soul, he tried to set foot on as much land as possible. Yet as time passed and he journeyed through so many lands, what unfolded before his eyes was nothing but misery and despair. He came to understand deeply why God grieved so greatly. In the small settlement where Adam, Seth, and even his own son Methuselah lived together in reverence, 8 generations gathered in one place. Such things could scarcely be imagined, yet across the world they were happening everywhere. Among the descendants of Adam, who had spread across the earth forgetting both Adam and the Creator, wars and massacres between tribes and cities never ceased. When wars ended, the defeated became slaves. Some were hunted for sport, others were sacrificed to the gods men had made for themselves, their hearts torn out while they were still alive. One man possessed many women. For pleasure they despised life itself, even destroying the children in their own wombs. Men desired men, women desired women, and even the corruption of beasts spread across the land. Yes, such was the end of mankind once the bond with the Creator had been severed. Man made himself master, conquering the earth and multiplying only to sink into pleasure and corruption. Along with it came chaos under the name of extreme freedom, and an emptiness that no one could explain spread over the world. Because the world had become such a place, Enoch's mission was urgent. He had to reach every corner of the earth quickly. For that purpose, I was placed upon him. Thus he flew. Whenever he arrived at a town or city, he would descend gently, cutting low across the sky before landing softly upon the ground. Those who witnessed his arrival stared at him in astonishment. The sight of a man flying through the air shattered everything they believed possible. People pushed and crowded closer to him, curiosity overcoming their fear, and the nearer they came, the more they sensed that an indescribable presence surrounded him. Gradually the murmuring crowd grew quiet. Then from Enoch's mouth flowed teachings about the Creator. In his eyes, his gestures, and every movement of his body, holiness seemed to dwell. The people listened in silence, holding their breath as they leaned in to hear his words. But their attention did not last long. As Enoch's message began to confront their lives, when he spoke of judgment and called them to turn from their ways, their expressions hardened. For most of them were already spiritually numb. It was not that they could not understand, rather they did not wish to. Living according to the raw desires of their flesh was enough for them. They had no desire to struggle against those desires. So they closed their ears to his words, and instead demanded entertainment. Fly again? They would shout. Show us something more. Still, there were a few, very few, who listened. These rare souls sought to know the Creator through the sacrifices Enoch taught them, and some trembled at the message of judgment. But the overwhelming majority were interested not in truth, but in spectacle. Soon, their demands turned to mockery. Mockery turned to anger, and anger turned to violence. In some villages, stones were thrown, stones hurled with laughter by reckless men. In certain cities, not only stones, but spears and arrows flew through the air. The rulers of those places wished to kill Enoch and offer him as a sacrifice upon the altars of the gods they had made. Yet each time something strange occurred. Stones fell before reaching him, spears lost their course, and arrows veered away. As long as Enoch wore me, such physical threats were useless, for the protection of God covered him through me, the garment of skin first given to Adam. But as the years passed, the threats became harsher, and around that time something else began to happen. Wherever Enoch went, certain unfamiliar figures appeared among the crowds who listened to him. They neither threatened nor mocked him. They simply listened carefully, their eyes fixed upon him as though weighing something unseen. Then, without a word, they would disappear. I could feel it. Something dark had begun to follow us. Enoch himself sensed it as well. In his prayers he lingered longer in silence than before. Sometimes he gazed toward the heavens as if listening. Perhaps, he thought, The day was drawing near, the day when God would lift him into the heaven promised to him 300 years earlier. That uneasy presence was coming from the land of Nod. The land of Nod. The place where Cain, after killing his brother Abel, wandered until at last he built the first city. The city he named after his son, Enoch. Now the power of that city rested in the hands of Lamech. Lamech was the seventh generation from Cain, just as Enoch was the seventh generation from Seth.